Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the next in Profil's boxes of stuff, historical stuff from the Bolshoi opera and Melodia. And today it's Mussorgsky. And this is a pretty remarkable set. In some ways, the most important of all. We've already talked about Tchaikovsky and Rimsky-Korsakov, and now we're doing Mussorgsky. 17 CDs of Mussorgsky, his complete operas and fragments. Now, most of what Mussorgsky wrote is a fragment. He is the biggest mess in all of music. He never finished anything, really. And as a result of that, you've got all kinds of reconstructions, deconstructions, unconstructions, and just plain structions. It's amazing, but I never knew you could get 17 discs of Mussorgsky operas on disc, but there's some really amazing stuff in here. I mean it. For those of you who are fans of this music, you are going to want this set. So what do we get? Let's just go through it quickly, and telling you what we get really is enough because it will whet your appetite, and you can just go for it yourself. First, you get, of course, Boris Godunov, but you get two Boris Godunovs. Well, you get more than two, actually sort of like 4 or 5 Boris Godunovs. Now, let me explain. Boris Godunov is kind of like the Lego of operas. It comes in pieces, and you can sort of assemble them in hello, Peepo. That was the cat. And you can kind of assemble them in any order that you want. I mean, they have to sort of, they have a place in the opera, but you can leave things out or you could put things in, and they're just, there's a whole act, Polish act that you could put in or take out, and the monastery scene, and there's the fool at the end, and where Boris dies kind of doesn't matter, and it's really kind of astonishing. Mussorgsky did 2 basic revisions of it, but there are other scenes and pieces, and then of course everyone else went to work fixing it. Rimsky-Korsakov and Ippolitov Ivanov did some of it, and Shostakovich redid the whole thing. It's just astonishingly messy. And so what we have is, first of all, a 1948-49 studio Bolshoi recording of the whole thing, but it was cut in certain strange ways. This is featuring Mark Risen as Boris, who's fabulous, absolutely fabulous. And let's see, we've got a bunch of other people. They're all Russian, and the conductor is Golovanov. Now, Golovanov is famous as a theatrical conductor. As a orchestral conductor, he was completely out of his mind and did all kinds of strange things to Russian music. If you have the Golovanov boxes, you know what I'm talking about. He was an amazing Scriabin conductor, and his theatrical conducting was just exciting as hell. He really was exciting. And let's see. So you get most of the Rimsky version here. And you get a little bit of Ippolitov Ivanov in scene 8, which is the Kremlin Square scene in front of St. Basil's, the St. Basil scene. And then you get, because they didn't do the complete Polish act, you get bits of it conducted by Alexander Melek Pasheyev with a totally different cast, and the complete scene 7, unabridged, which is the fountain moonlight night thing from the Cuitons. The Cuitons performance that was on EMI with the Paris Conservatory Orchestra and Evelyn Lear as Marina, given to lots of Polish political scheming. That's what happens. That's what Marina does in the Polish act. So that's one Boris. It's just, it's very Boris-like. It's assembled from things all over the place. Excuse me. Peepo is having a nervous breakdown. And then we get, and this is what's really cool for me, the complete Shostakovich orchestration. Now, that's kind of a legend because it's never been formally recorded in the West in like good sound. Shostakovich did both Rimsky-Korsakov operas, Khovanshchina and Boris Godunov. And he claims to have retained all of Mussorgsky's harmonic interest, which, Rimsky kind of altered. but his orchestration is even more interventionist than Rimsky's is. And who knew? Because no one heard it. This is a 1960 live Mariinsky Theater recording from St. Petersburg, and it's actually quite good and listenable. And I mean, it doesn't even matter who the singers are; they're all Russian, and you just want to hear it. To have the Shostakovich version, which is really, really cool. I'm very excited to see this here. So for that, it's like CD4, CD5, CD6. It's all the Shostakovich version. Then you get Khovanshchina. You get the Rimsky version to start with. And let's see, we get the Shostakovich version right after it. I mean, this is serious stuff for Mussorgsky junkies. I mean, normal people need not concern themselves with this stuff because, it's really, and it's really, a subset of a subset of a subset. You have to like opera. You have to like Russian opera. You have to like Mussorgsky incomplete opera. You have to like multiple versions of Mussorgsky's incomplete operas. But for those of us who have been bitten by the bug, it's just fun. It's fun to listen and compare. I mean, these are melodia recordings. They're mono. They're dim. They're scruffy. Hello, Peepo. But they are really, really exceptional and amazing to have. Then we get this comic opera, The Marriage, Zhenitba, and this was orchestrated by Ippolitov Ivanov. My goodness, in like 1931 or thereabouts, and it goes on for let's see, I don't know. A couple of CDs. We're up to CD 13 with The Marriage. And then we get Sorochinsky Fair. Sorochinsky Fair. Sorochinsky, so yes. It's Sorochinskaya Yarmarka, or the fair at Sorochinsky. We had a discussion about this when we were talking about A Night on Bald Mountain, which is stuck into this as a choral interlude. So you get to hear it. It was arranged by Vissarion Shibalin in 1931 and recorded in 1955. So you get the complete Sorochinsky Fair, which is Sorochinsky or Sorochinskaya. I don't care how you pronounce it. So that's in here. That's discs 14 and you get, let's see, a bonus. I don't know what the bonus is, which is like all kinds of pieces that may have been stuffed into it. And then we get CD 17. Oh, wait a minute. There's so much more here. Other fragments. Let's do the rest of the fragments, shall we? You get Salambo and Mulata. These were two projects that Mussorgsky worked on, and the fragments are in here. Some of the fragments from Salambo were recorded by like Claudio Abbado on that RCA disc of miscellaneous Mussorgsky stuff, things that he actually wrote, but he never finished it, of course. And we get, yes, the Mulata, the Solemn Triumphal March, the Capture of the Cars. That's what the Philharmonia and Walter Susskind. I mean, this collection is assembled from everywhere, absolutely everywhere. And then we get, let's see, a bonus CD, CD 17. We get Fyodor Chaliapin singing Boris Godunov, his studio recordings from 1911 to 1931, and a live recording from 1928 from Covent Garden, and let's see, and all kinds of little bits. And it's I like this. It's the Covent Garden recording conducted by Vincenzo Bellezza from 1931 to 43. You get other excerpts. I mean, it's a bonus disc of very historical stuff with Chaliapin, and I guess some other people involved as well. It doesn't make any sense to analyze this in any depth. It's just a historical release for people who really are into historical releases, and some fascinating stuff to have the Shostakovich versions of Boris Godunov, and well, Khovanshchina, it's been recorded, the Shostakovich version, along with the Stravinsky ending. That's available too. That was also Claudio Abbado. So, but we have it. It's on Profil. It's sonically compromised, as you might expect, but it's important. And it features some classic singers and classic conductors. You get Melik Pesheyev and Golovanov, and it's just a wonderful box to be able to grab and have if you're a Russian opera or a Boris Godunov fan. And you are going to want to hear the Shostakovich orchestration of Boris Godunov because it's very surprising. I assure you, it's very, very interesting. So keep on listening, folks. Go get your 17 discs of Mussorgsky Legos. Take care.